Hi, this is Francesco Artusato from Devil You Know, and you're listening to Metal Wani.
Hey, this is Sairaj Kamath from Wani. How are you doing?
Really good. Just hanging out here.
Great. Now, let's start off by talking about Devil You Know's debut album, The Beauty of Destruction. Now, we here at Wani loved it. So, how has the album been received by your fans and critics so far?
Well, the album's not out yet, and so far we only heard back from interviewers and magazines, and pretty much everybody's loving it, which is really cool.
Great, great. That's good to know. Now, one thing that I noticed about the album while we were reviewing it is that some of the angriest and darkest material I've ever heard from any of you guys. So, what were the lyrical and musical inspirations behind the music?
Well, a lot of the lyrics are about Howard's past few years. He just said
Hmm,
6, 7 years of like it was really
hmm,
tough for him, and
ah,
a lot of the lyrics talk about that. And
hmm.
so, like lyrically, yeah, it's really dark,
Wow.
and yeah, musically, I think it's just I don't know something that just came out natural, like like that. Just that's the vibe that we kind of
Hmm,
had. And even the songs there, and now that the more metal ones are
hmm.
still pretty dark songs.
Great. So it sounds like the process was really natural. Like all of you took what you've learned over the years with your individual styles and put them into the music. So I think that's why the music turned out so good, isn't it?
Thank you, and I think that's the reason why it just it just we just wrote the music that we wanted to write without thinking
Mm,
about pleasing anybody. It just that's exactly what we did. Just write whatever we
mm,
wanted, and we gave each other freedom to just experiment and do whatever.
mm,
For Howard, it was like a few things that he always wanted to do, and he said
mm,
like, I never got to do a song like this. I really want to do a song of
mm,
this kind and sing it this way, and just
mm.
like it's like that's how we all respect each other,
Okay.
and like artistically we should do whatever we feel inside.
Mm. Great, great. Now, let's talk about the writing and recording process a bit. Now, I understand that you and your drummer John Sankey
Yeah,
exchanged a lot of the material between each other for bringing Howard on. So, how was the whole process of the music's creation from start to finish?
yeah. About probably 4 years ago,
Hmm.
John and I just started jamming and writing some tunes just for fun,
Hmm.
just to
Yeah.
see what we come up with. And we got to a point that we had 10 or 11 solid demos,
Hmm.
and that's when we started thinking, we should get a singer,
Hmm.
and got in touch with Howard through people that we knew,
Hmm.
and he liked it a lot. And
Hmm.
at that time, he was not even thinking about doing something again. He was just like,
Hmm.
not really thinking about being
Wow.
involved with another band.
Hmm.
But he liked what he heard, and we started talking. And a few months later,
Hmm.
he came down here to LA. We all
Hmm.
met. We recorded some demos. Then we decided to do like really good demos.
Hmm.
And a few months later, and that was January last year. So
Okay.
we got to. Meanwhile, we just kept writing, And
Hmm.
then after those demos were done, with producer Logan Matter, we decided, to just
Hmm.
write as much as possible
Yeah.
and go to the studio with a lot of material and just see what was gonna happen then.
Hmm.
And and that's what we did last summer. We entered the studio.
Yeah.
We were in the studio for almost 2 months, and we just like kept you know writing even in the studio and arranging
Hmm.
ideas and try things. Yeah, I mean, we had so much material we could have done. We could have recorded like 3 records.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. John and I write really fast together. It's just like it's one of those things. Him and I are like
Hmm.
I don't know. Sometimes people work really well together, and that's I
Mm.
think that's one of the those situations just very easy for me. And pretty much everything we're doing, Howard was liking it, so it was really cool.
Great, great. So from what I've heard, so I guess there was a lot of material building up for perhaps a second or third album. So does that mean there is a lot of material behind which you're going to use in the future?
I don't know. I mean, it could be that some of the songs that we didn't finish or we didn't end up putting on this record might evolve into something else and end up uh, on the next record. But I don't know. I mean, John and I are already writing music
Mm,
for futures, future albums, and we just, we never stop. We just keep doing it. We love doing it. So I
mm,
don't know if it doesn't feel like we're gonna need to go back to all the material, but
mm,
if we still want to use it, I think
mm.
we could.
Great. So what's on the cards for Devil You Know in the near future? And how much longevity do you see for this your great project?
Uh, this it didn't start like a side project. I
Mm,
mean, we we currently are, you know, also like some
mm.
of us are in other bands, and
Yeah.
but I mean, this is not intended to be just a side project. It's
Good,
just
good.
so I I mean, we'll see. Now we're gonna in 2 weeks we're gonna go on tour.
Mm,
We're gonna start like a long U.S. tour, and but I mean, the hope and then obviously the plan is to have this band
mm.
keep going. It's like we're really serious about it.
Great. If you wanted to describe Devil You Know's music, if you wanted to describe the beauty of destruction in one sentence, what would it be?
I would say heavy metal variety.
Great, great.
It's like to me there's so many elements of the heavy metal and hard
Mm,
rock in it.
yeah.
Then that's one of the things that to me it just I like records
Mm,
when there's a lot of variety,
mm,
and that's what I think the plan with this record was to just have a record that would have each
mm,
song would be like any like like its own song by
mm.
itself. It's like
Great. Now, let's talk about your other band, All Shall Perish. Now, you guys have officially stated that the band will go on after your singer Eddie Hermida joined Suicide Silence, but I think the main hurdle right now is finding a new singer. So, do you have any news for us on that front?
we're trying to stay kind of private with all that, you
Oh,
know.
all right.
But I mean, the band is gonna keep going,
Great.
and I think partially after that whole thing with the singer and
Mm,
Eddie, all that.
yeah.
So right now we're kind of at the same time we're kind of taking a break,
Okay.
and we're all focusing on other things. But at the same time, we're still writing music. We're still talking to each other constantly.
Mm.
So the band is definitely gonna keep going, and we have a lot of material
Oh, great.
for for a future record, and it, and I think that the singer
Mm.
part we're gonna deal with it. It's not gonna be a problem, and
Good.
yeah. So it's all in the future.
Great, that's good news. Now, one more thing. I think All Shall Perish is, technically brutal yet melodic style. I think it suited your background with your previous band, Hiss of Atrocities, quite well. So, how was the transition for you from Hiss of Atrocities to joining the band in 2010?
Uh, I think was yeah, kind of felt natural. I mean, it's like I always been a fan of like not just the style that I play, or not the specific style of the band that I'm currently in. It's just like no matter what I'm playing, it's just like I listen to a lot of other music and a lot of different like
Mm,
genres and styles of metal, and to me, it's just
mm,
there's like some elements that I like of heavier music and less heavy music, and
mm,
I like to incorporate those elements. I feel like there's a harmonically and melodically, there's certain things that I like a lot.
mm,
I like the sound of it, I mean, at the same time, if I'm writing like an extreme metal song or I'm
Hmm.
writing a rock song, I
Okay.
still like those elements. So I feel like that's probably
Great, great. Now, the one thing that amazes me here is that if all these bands and projects aren't enough, you even have your own solo project, the Francesco Artusato project. Now,
yeah.
how do you divide your time and energies between these projects? Keeping them active and giving music to the people from these projects.
Yeah, which is actually I'm pretty much finished with the second record
Hmm.
also.
Great, great.
Yeah, my second solo record.
Hmm.
And I don't know, man, it just like I love writing. I love
Hmm.
writing. So I can like literally like even when like we record an album,
Hmm.
like a week later I'm already writing music because it's
Wow.
that's what I like to do. And it's not I don't write because I feel like we need to put out a record, so I need to write to have a
Hmm.
record ready. I just write because I like it.
Great.
And it just like I like to have different projects with different kind of vibe, different kind of style because
Hmm.
allows me to express like different different vibes, you know.
Hmm.
And so for me, it's a lot of fun. If I only had to write for one band, would
Hmm.
probably take me longer to write all
Okay.
this music, you know. But
Hmm.
since all these projects have their own sound, it's just I don't know. I wake up in the morning and I sit down and start writing.
Wow, that sounds great. Now, the from what I've heard so far from the first solo album, Chaos in the Primordial, I noticed that the music it's quite different from your signature style, which I've heard with your other bands. So, does that mean there are other influences in that project which we haven't heard before, which you're now bringing into your own solo project?
Yeah, I think that the especially that first solo record is very progressive and shreddy.
Okay.
You know, and if you listen to the music in Devil, you know, for example, it sounds a lot different.
Hmm.
But I feel like I don't know, just like it felt right to do at that time, like a record that would be so technical and shreddy.
Hmm.
You know, now the next solo record
Hmm.
is probably more similar to what the music is in Devil, you know?
Okay.
Kind of like and I feel like it's probably natural for somebody just like to either evolve or just like you know depending on the time right now this is kind of like the vibe the music that I
Hmm.
kind of like the first record the first solo record it just like I wanted to do a lot of that music I want to
Hmm.
make it very dense and busy with you know very technical you know so at that time it felt right now I'm just
Hmm.
you know I want to do something a little different so yeah I don't know maybe the third record is going to be all like technical again you know
Great.
yeah it really depends.
Great. We'll be looking forward to it. Now, one question I've got here is that you're a graduate, as I understand. You're a graduate from the Berklee College of Music as well. Now,
Yeah.
how important would you say that formal training is to you and people in your line of music? Considering that both self-taught and formally trained guitarists have achieved great things in heavy metal.
Yeah. uh if I think about what it brought like what it did to me like studying and all that I think it's kind of like the vision that
Hmm.
I have with music it, I don't know it's just like a certain kind of sound certain kind of thing so many times I translate from other genres of music
Okay.
and I mean I grew up listening to a lot of classical music and in school I study a lot of composition classical composition and jazz arranging jazz composition and
Hmm.
so I kind of see like even with a simple rock song
Okay.
sometimes there are elements that you know that you can that you naturally incorporating from other genres other styles and for my music I do see the connection
Hmm.
like when I think about writing a part I kind of see I don't stop thinking about maybe the top melody but
Hmm.
I think about the arrangement of all the other instruments and naturally but but it comes from studying and listening to certain music for a very long time, I think.
Great, great. Now, lastly, have you ever thought about performing in India or experiencing some of our metal or traditional music? Perhaps this is too early to expect from Devil You Know to come to India, but maybe this can happen when things settle down with All Shall Perish.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a few times. I was in India 2 years ago. I was there
Oh,
for a tour of clinics.
okay.
I mean, I only did one in India, but I was just doing like the whole like Asian in India,
Hmm.
and I was performing some of the. Obviously, it was a clinic, but I played some of the Ultra Parish material. I played some of the Chaos and Primordial
Okay.
material, and I mean, I like to come back and just like either with one project or the other. I feel like it really felt like in India, like a lot of people who are fans of metal,
Hmm.
and people are very enthusiastic about music.
Great, great. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Francesco. India is chock full of heavy metal fans, and if you ever come to India with Devil You Know or All Shall Perish, we will be expecting a lot of metal, horns up for you guys.
Nice, good to
Great,
hear.
great. Now, thanks a lot for talking to us at Metal Wani, Francesco.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you for the review.